Yes.
Councilor Mildenberger,
Yes.
Councilor Yarnell Holloman,
Yes.
Councilor Kilberg,
Yes.
Mayor Rogers,
Yes.
Councilor Finley.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you all. Thanks very much. And thanks, as you said, James, thank you for the robust discussion. I appreciate it. So thank you very much, folks. All right, on to new business. This is RCA 2022-3864, approving a disbursement from Fund 14 in support of the Newberg Downtown Coalition. I will note that the Downtown Coalition's Executive Director, Molly Olson, is here to answer any questions. So, all righty. And who is presenting on this one?
So there is a short PowerPoint presentation, which I think that Molly will probably want to talk us through.
Okay.
And but I will say that over the last weeks of August, City Manager and Councillor Yarnell Holloman were contacted via email with this proposal to support the good works of the Newberg Downtown Coalition via this potential grant.
And if I can just say, we were contacted because we serve ex officio on the board.
Exactly. So we could, the next slide. So our request is that you consider providing financial support for the Downtown Coalition. 10,000 in the fiscal year this year, 10,000 in the fiscal year next year, so that we can continue to serve downtown in concert with our partners. And I had a lot of discussion with various folks about where should this come from. And we settled on the Economic Development Fund because we're not a TLT org. We're not, we do events, but most of our events, like the farmers market, during COVID, they drew people from Vancouver, Washington, but now things are more normal. So most of our events are somewhat local at this point. So really our whole focus is keeping downtown healthy, because a healthy downtown is a healthy city, or is a component of a healthy city. It's not enough on its own, but a dead downtown will kill a city. So what we do is actually just focus on downtown. We're not a membership org. We have membership drive for donations to help pay for our executive director, of which I am not, by the way. I did that for 18 months. I'm currently acting because the other one left, but that will cease as soon as I can talk someone. I mean, as soon as we find the qualified person. Right now I am the board president because I'm trying to get them financially stable, which is why I'm here tonight. Apparently for the last 2 years, they really were focusing on a lot of things, but fundraising wasn't one of them. And it turns out after a while that doesn't work anymore. So here I am tonight. So what we do is we look at the look and feel of downtown. So I don't know if any of you were downtown last Wednesday, but our friends in Public Works, ourselves and 105 GFU students started at one end of downtown and went all the way down on 1st and 2nd and pulled weeds, picked up, I don't know how many truckloads of garbage they took away. A bunch, yeah. And cut the suckers off the trees and stuff like that, so that when you, now if you don't walk, I live downtown, so I walk down and you see the difference, right? That's a partnership with GFU. We've done it every year, but during COVID we stopped, right? Other cleanup things are our volunteer pressure washing crew, which again, we get considerable help from Public Works on where do we find water in all these old buildings downtown. And we get grants from some of the local churches so that we can get the Reed rental pressure washers, and then we turn everybody loose with towels and mostly nobody gets hurt. It's very good. So we do things that are really around making it look good. And that's kind of a cleanup thing, but we also do things around beautification. So if you've seen the flower barrels downtown, again, working in concert with CPRD, Brian Francis, if you know him, he is like the best gardener in the world. And you see him out there on a Sunday watering them, and we cleaned them and painted them. During COVID, some of us climbed up on top of all the buildings downtown and put lights. I have been informed by my spouse that I'm no longer allowed to do that, since he feels constrained to be there so that I don't walk off the building, but I have never walked off the building because I'm here. We do things that are also more long-term. We participated in the urban renewal project. A chunk of that money will go to revitalizing the downtown area. This is after the bypass, so that we can make First Street less of a highway. So our focus is downtown, but we partner, we don't do anything by ourselves. We're very small, but we partner with others. So things like the Berg Bucks is a partnership with the city, the Chamber of Commerce, and us. And if you want to participate in Berg Bucks, if your business has a Newberg zip code, that's all we require. Don't have to be downtown. You can, some of the wineries are like, I'm in Newberg, according to my zip code, and it's fine with us, right? So the Google My Business workshops, where we got some ARPA funding and worked with Taste Newberg and Chamber and us. We do things like the Wednesday market, which just wrapped up last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was a very busy day. And if anyone has a truck, I need to move a large storage bin from the market, just see me. I know someone who has a truck, never mind. We do the First Friday Art Walk. So a lot of our focus is on things that we can make happen downtown so that people come downtown so that they also maybe have dinner or do shopping. So at the end of the cleanup, the Downtown Coalition invested $650 worth of $5 Berg Buck cards. For every GFU student got a $5 one that worked on the cleanup, which did have a positive impact on how long they stayed, because they weren't going to get them till the end of the day. But what we're trying to do is make people come downtown so that our downtown businesses thrive, and then we try and make downtown look really nice so that they have a nice time when they're there. We do seasonal events like Halloween is coming up. If you've ever seen it, it's a true madhouse, but the children love it. We'll have a holiday market in concert with the Cultural Center. They're very helpful to us because they allow us to use the ballroom without charging us an arm and a leg. We're also working, we have an art committee because we want to increase the amount of public art, and not just downtown, but actually in our parks and schools. So we start with downtown. We got ARPA funding to do some concrete pads, and we do it again in concert with the city. The city engineer is going to design the pads for us. So really, we try and do everything with very low cost. And then we'll place the pads and then do call for artists. And we've already got sculptures being donated for near the library and stuff. So this is kind of what we do. We focus on downtown, try and keep it going. The other thing that we've done in the past is historic grants. And there's been the question, why don't we combine the Chamber and the Downtown Coalition? And we actually explored that because neither one of us were financially feeling really great after 2 years of COVID. And what we determined was that actually we're two different kinds of nonprofits. There's a 501c3, which is what we are, and I think it's a 501c6. So 501c6 can do things like lobby for laws and back candidates, but they can't accept certain kinds of grants. A 501c3, we're completely neutral. We stay out of politics. We wish people wouldn't make fusses because then less people come downtown. So we're really kind of focused on the business environment being good. But what we can get is things like grants from the state of Oregon to redo the historic buildings. So Chapters was redone with a historic grant. Chamber can't do that. So by having both of us, we actually have access to more funds and more capability than we would otherwise. So that's my spiel, I think, if you will. Any questions?
Yep. Questions, folks? That's your cue. All right. I have a question. Do we have money in Fund 14?
Yes, the Fund 14 contingency line item has $141,061 in it, of which none has been spent yet because it's a contingency fund.
Of course, if you want to give us 141,000 and miscellaneous, it's okay.
How is the hiring going for a director?
Board meeting on the 27th and a vote, and God willing, an ED.
What's the money going to be used for?
Paying said ED.
Okay, and then, so we've got for 2 years for said ED, what happens after that?
Well, actually, normally we don't get into quite this situation because we fundraise all along. And actually, they haven't been doing any membership drive or any fundraising for the last couple of years. So part of my job, I'm actually board president right now, but what I'm going to take on for the board is actually getting us solvent. And part of that discussion we've had with the city and with the chamber and with Taste Newberg, we could host a major event in Newberg. We're at the heart of the wine country. We've got a lot of assets. Do something around art or something in order to grow that into a major event that actually is a fundraiser will take several years. In the meantime, we get funding from the Austin Family Foundation Legacy. We're going to hit up Poor Providence because we want to actually replace those lights that we climbed up on top and did, and actually have somebody with a cherry picker who knows what they're doing, actually do the town, and then come back and maintain them every year. So my job going forward is really grants, funding, events, so that we can get more stable, because you can't not raise money for 2 years and be stable.
Another question probably for Katie. What's the source of Fund 14 money?
So there's the Economic Development Fund, and then there's affordable housing, then there's construction excise tax. So so a lot of the stuff for the hotel lives in there for the SDCs that we did for ARPA. Then we have construction excise tax money that's in there as well. And then we have a pot of money that's reserved for affordable housing. So we'll be using the economic development portion of Fund 14. Oh. And boost the power for everybody? Oh, wow. Who knew that was the mic? Oh, thank you. I don't know why I keep pushing that one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Good thing you stuck around.
Hey, there we go. All right. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, any other questions or comments, folks? All right, hearing that, how's about a motion? Okay, Mike?
Oh, I just went to the wrong one.
Yeah, I move that we go ahead and grant $10,000 out of the Economic Development Fund, Fund 14.
And a second.
Second.